Hi there, and welcome back to this series on Discerning the Priesthood Explained. In this session, we're going to talk about what common discernment challenges, that if a guy embarks on this road, what can he pretty much expect to encounter? And it's almost like a warning ahead of time if you're just starting out. If you're already in the process, perhaps you've experienced some of these things already. But let's dive in. Usually when a guy is open to the priesthood, right? He's not in the seminary yet. He's like in high school, or he's at college age, or he's post-college young adult, and he's involved with his faith. He's open to this. Typically, one of the first experiences is often actually a sense of loneliness. That is, he looks around and he does not see a lot of people discerning the priesthood, right? Many of his peers have probably left the faith. They're not even practicing Catholics, not even Christian. Maybe a lot of his friends are not believers in God at all. And here he is, like, finding this attraction, this at least curiosity towards the priesthood. It can often feel lonely. They can feel like they're from Mars, honestly. Like gosh, why are my friends not interested in this as well? They go to dinner and topics of conversation are not like about celibacy, right? Usually the opposite. And so they can find a real sense of loneliness in the discernment process. Just know that's a pretty common challenge. Another common challenge is a lack of direction. That is, they go online and look at discernment or priesthood, and there is just so many websites, so many books out there, so many pamphlets out there, a lot of podcasts out there even, a lot of stuff, a lot of material, and they get a little overwhelmed, right? Like, well, gosh, what is a good next step? What is reputable? What is good for me? What's kind of bad advice? And they don't know, right? They don't know. There's kind of a lack of direction with discernment. And what happens is, because they don't want to make a mistake, they don't want to make a bad step, they oftentimes just get stuck. They don't make any move whatsoever. Almost like a discernment paralysis happens. And what can happen with that is 6 months can go by, a year can go by, 5 years can go by, and they're not actually any closer to learning, is God calling them to be a priest or not? And so that sort of discernment paralysis is a real challenge for discerners. That lack of direction is just a common frustration that guys will often bump into throughout the process. Another common discernment challenge is a lack of knowledge. That is, they just have no idea what it's like to be a priest. That, okay, I know what priests do on Sunday. I'm pretty sure I know what they do, like in the confessional. But what's a priest do, like on Wednesday afternoon? Like, I have no idea. Meetings or something? I don't know. So they don't know. The discerners do not know what it's like to be a priest. They don't know what it's like to do those things that we as priests do all the time. For example, you have an experience of going to Mass for sure, but you have no idea what it's like to be on the other side, to hold bread in your hands, to say the words of institution, and that bread becomes the presence of Christ right in your fingers. And then, as a priest, you're there to feed the people of God with that holy bread, with His body, so that they are nourished and in communion with Him. That is a beautiful experience, profound experience for the priest, that you have no idea what that's like. You have an experience of your own confession, but you have no clue what it's like to hear confessions, one after another, people who've never met you before, who may be 40 years older than you, or more, and they come in and they confess to you things that their spouses don't know. Right? They're saying things to you that nobody else on planet Earth knows, and here they are, you, the priest, confessing these things to you. That's a pretty big responsibility. And there you are, the medium through which the mercy of God flows through into them, and you can just watch the peace happen right in front of you. Again, intimate, personal, beautiful, profound. The priest sees this all the time. And you have no idea what that's like, right? All those things that priests do, whether it's hugging a homeless person, visiting the dying, being the spiritual father of a community, of a whole parish, all those things, walking around in clerics, right? People calling you father. These are things that priests do and encounter and who they are. This is their life. And oftentimes discerners, they don't know at all what that experience is like. And so, if they don't know what that's like, how can they seriously discern this? How are they supposed to know if this shoe fits if they don't know what in the world that is? And so that lack of knowledge of what it's, of the priest's perspective on things, of what it's like, that's a real challenge for them discernment-wise. How am I supposed to discern this if the whole thing is a big foggy mess in my mind, right? And so these are three very common challenges that discerners often run up against. Again, loneliness, a lack of direction, and a lack of knowledge. And as if that wasn't enough, there's more. We'll talk about that at the next session.